Hey everybody, I appreciate you coming by to check us out, and I'd appreciate it if you'd stick with us for just a minute or two with this video so we can kind of give you an idea of what's going on. First, to introduce myself, my name is Richard, and I've been in the digital marketing game for more than 10 years. During that time, I've worked with literally hundreds of local businesses. By local businesses, I don't necessarily mean small businesses. I mean companies that do business with local clients. They are geographically close to their clients and customers. And during that time, I kept hearing the same issues. I kept hearing all the different problems centered around a customer acquisition strategy. And that's what leads me to you. If you're reading this or watching this video, then you have likely reached out to me with some sort of direct mailer. And what I'm about to say, I don't mean it sarcastically, but I actually love getting direct mail. I love junk mail. And I know that sounds stupid, but let me explain why. I love junk mail, but I don't love it for the coupons. So first we need to understand who sends it. Who sends all this stuff? Well, there's kind of three categories that I put everybody into. There's your larger national chains, right? So they're normally sending out your coupons, your specials, daily deals, whatever. That's not who I like getting junk mail from. Then there's the credit card companies, and I like them even less. I consider them to be the worst of the worst. And lastly, there's a different category, one that I think you fall in. It's for local businesses, specifically service-based industries. And so some examples might be a lawn care company, tree removal, dentist, doctors, attorneys, pest control, HVAC. You already know who they are because you probably get the same kind of direct mail as well. Those are the type of businesses that I actually love getting the mail from. And the reason that I do that is because I already know a good bit about them. So what do I know about them? Well, just based off their direct mail, I know the product or service that they're offering. I know that they are trying to bring on new clients or customers. I know that because they've just allocated some budget, right? They've just thrown some dollars at the idea of bringing on new customers. So I also know the hook that they're willing to offer. The hook might be $25 off your first visit if you're a dentist, or it might be a free consultation if you're an attorney. It might be 10% off your first yard service if you're a lawn care company. You get the point. And then we also know how to get in touch with the company offering it because obviously every direct mail piece puts their contact information directly on it. And so that's how we have come across each other for today's purposes. We also know a few other things. We also can get a pretty good feel for the cost that they are incurring. And if we're trying to estimate that, then I want to introduce you to something we consider to be the 3 to 10 rule. And the 3 to 10 rule has two pieces, right? It states that on average, there is a $3 to $10 cost per touch. And so these touch points, we'll give you some examples here in a second, but each one of them costs between $3 and $10. And that there's 3 to 10 touch points required for each step in the sales cycle. We'll take a look at that in just a second, but we got to touch them 3 to 10 times. And that's to go through each individual step of the sales cycle. So since each touch point has a cost of around $3 to $10, some examples might be direct mail or like a billboard, your text messages, your phone calls, emails, whatever. And everybody says, well, an email doesn't cost anything. Well, it does. It costs man hours. Somebody is manually writing out an email. That does cost money. So each touch point, somewhere, depending on your industry and depending on what you're doing, somewhere in between the neighborhood of $3 and $10, and it requires 3 to 10 for each step in the sales cycle. Which means, all that being true, that the cost of customer acquisition is very high. And if that's true, then you're going to be thrilled with what our system provides because we just drive the customer acquisition cost way down through using marketing automation. So let's take a look at an example sales cycle. And obviously this is going to be different for each niche. Each industry is going to have their own sales cycle, but we want to take a look at it. This is what people commonly think of when they think of a sales funnel. Yours may have some extra steps in there. This is an oversimplified version just to give you a visual reference. We like to think of it more of a ladder or stairs where you have multiple different steps that you are taking somebody through. And so if we know that the 3 to 10 rule exists, we know that we might have to reach out with 8 different touch points for the prospects. That might be them driving by a billboard, seeing an online ad, getting something that they see shared on Facebook, direct mail pieces, that examples of all that. Then when they become a lead, they've maybe reached out to something, we've got to reach out back to them up to 7 times. And then each one of these, it goes through more and more touch points. And you see the numbers going down because as we've done more business with them, hopefully we're getting a better response rate. But just in this example, that's 28 different touch points. And if each one of those is $3 to $10, well, even on the low end, your customer acquisition is $84. So just a tremendously high touch point. So how do we get some savings out of that? Well, imagine automating most of your touch points. And so automating doesn't have to be impersonal. It can be a very personal feel to it, but it's automatic. So it's just a ton of dollars that you're going to save per customers that can be reinvested other places in your business. Because follow-up is time-consuming, it's tedious, it's expensive, especially if it's manual. So we automate the follow-up process in a number of ways that we'd like to show you. We're going to reduce human error that costs money. If you're automating it, it means that nothing is going to fall through the cracks. But again, for me to explain how all this works would take a much longer time than to just show you. So there's a form on this page. It's going to ask you for just a couple of pieces of information. If you'll fill it in with your name, your business name, your email address, and your phone number, you're going to see a couple of different ways that we're going to be able to reach out to you automatically. We're doing this because you are our perfect prospect, but equally importantly, we want you to see how the automated process works, and that way you can imagine exactly how it could work for your business. It's 100% free. There's no tricks to it. You're not even asked for a credit card number. 100% free. It's easy. It's automatic. It's just a demo where we think we can show you enough to where you'll say, that really will save us a lot of money on our advertising dollars. So please fill out that information, enjoy the automation sequences, and hopefully we'll get the opportunity to talk to you on the other side of them. Thanks.